Hey guys, back for another video. Sitting in a coffee place close to our house in Querétaro, Mexico. And, I watched a video this morning and, it was a good video. It was about, what you think of yourself is really all that matters. And then it went on to say what it said, but it just kind of sparked a thought in me because I was thinking about, a rather difficult period I went through for a few years, 2 or 3 years ago, and all of what I was thinking about, what kind of mindset I was in. I was in I had a rear view mirror on pretty much the entire time, looking back, mistakes I'd made. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Why did this happen? Things out of my control, things in my control. But it was all a matter of how I was responding to the things that were happening. There's a lot of other issues, some bad meds from a psychiatrist, and some other business issues that were going on, and just a whole variety of things. I'll just tell you, it was an intense period. As I often refer to, I see it as the dark night of my soul. It was one of the difficult times in my life. And when I got to thinking about it with this video that was posted today, I was thinking, where did all that rearview mirror stuff come from? All that negative self-talk, all of the, self-doubt and questioning myself, and people I know would that I was close to would say, well, look at all the success you had with your magazine publishing, and then this other business that you've been in that you've had, last 14 years had huge success, and and they would point that out logically, but what was going on inside of me, which I know today, was all of the things that happened. I had some really horrific things happen as a kid, probably mostly up to age 12, but it was intense. I won't get into detail. I'll just tell you that it was tough, and I didn't know it was tough. Basically, I can tell you, it was my life, and I lived in a constant fear and terror, basically, more than fear. And I didn't know that wasn't how you're supposed to feel as a kid. I have very few memories of happy times as a kid, and it was just a constant knot in my stomach, and I just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me as a kid. And a lot of things that happened when this period came up a couple of years ago, all of that stuff came back. All of that self-doubt, negative self-talk, remorse, regret, with a vengeance. Let me tell you, most of my adult life, with the businesses I've had a lot of focus and it stayed really busy. But I found that when I'm not busy and I'm not taking action, my mind is idle, it usually doesn't go to positive places. If I'm not getting after something, it's usually not going to be a good result. And there was a period there, for a whole bunch of reasons, and some of them totally legit, why I wasn't able to really take action. There was some days, for about a year, there was periods I go through where I wouldn't sleep for 2, 3, 4, even 5 nights in a row, no sleep at all. And that just gives you an idea where my mindset was. It wasn't good. But when I was watching this video and thinking about that, I thought about how all of that stuff came back with a vengeance. And then I thought about, what I had to do to kind of turn that around. First of all, I had a great naturopathic doctor here in Mexico. He's one of my best friends now. He just was amazing. My wife, in the things that she's into with, energy work and prana healing and all these different things that are really good, and some good dogs. That's definitely a big part of it. I'm also in recovery, not to get into details about what, when, and where, because there's some anonymity issues there, but you can figure that out. I'll just say this: when I was in high school, I got to the 11th grade because partying got in the way of the school, and I had to make a choice. It was either going to be partying or school, and I made the choice of partying. I got that handled about 22 years old, and my life began to change. And I focused on business, did well, applied the principles of the recovery program I'm part of, and had an insane work ethic for most of that time. And as a result, I had a lot of success, and I had a lot of identity related with that. When that was all vanishing, when this old ideas, the old paradigms came up, it was just like I was a little kid again, like inside of my emotions in my head. Some of you may relate with it. It's a weird place to be, and it's a place where it's kind of like if you burn yourself and then you touch that burn, how much it hurts, And I was very isolated, and very few people I would talk about what was going on. And the more time went on, the more isolated I got. Fortunately, I got through that, and there's some good people that are in my life. Mentors, 5 or 6 of them, that have made a huge difference. Not interested in mentoring me for like money success, but just good people, getting through those kind of periods. The point about this is, when things really began to change is when I started focusing and paying attention to this law of attraction thing, and vibrational energy. We're all energy. I mean, I'm sitting on this, so everything is energy. People watching this that know about that know that everything is energy. So just what vibration that it's vibrating at. Everything is energy. And some of you might look at the double slit experiment. Look it up on YouTube. It's pretty amazing. But what happened was I began to following some different people, like I mentioned, Proctor and Napoleon Hill and Joe Dispenza and those type of people, talking about what you focus on is what you will attract. And so I began to really intensely focus on, which I talked about the last video I did, about the future self that did merge with some of my past self. So I had some experience to pull some of that forward, but to be able to, the future self of the person I want to be, the lifestyle I want to have, and actually visualizing, meditating, pulling forward the feelings of that future self, doing the actions, most important, and that's really where the gift is. It's in taking the action, like doing a social media post, contacting people, like I ghosted for a long time, that I can't really explain to them what was going on with me, but just stepping into that fear of rejection and ridicule or whatever it might be, because I just disappeared, kind of thing, off everywhere for a lot of people's view anyway, or at least my view of what their view is. I'm finding that it's more the story I made up in my mind than it is reality. It's just that happens that way. So stepping into the fear and taking the action in whatever area of my life that needs to take action, and most of the time it's where I'm resisting, where I don't want to take action, where I'll find any reason. I'll go feed the dogs, I'll go to a coffee place, I gotta run get groceries, I gotta water the lawn, whatever it is, anything. And when I'm seeing myself doing that, those things have to be done, I guess, but when I see myself doing that, I immediately stop. I think about what would that future self, 3 years, 5 years out, making X amount of money, living a certain lifestyle, leading groups of people, whatever it is, what would that guy do? And I then take the action of what that would be. Another trick to this is, I think that's the best action, but the other trick to this is thinking about somebody you admire and look up to. And when you're in a period of doubt, I've done this a lot in the past, think about somebody very successful, whatever area, what success means to you. I'm not just saying financial, whatever it is. And when in self-doubt, fear, anxiety, procrastination, thinking about that person, what would they do in this situation, my perception of what they would do. And that's been helpful. But the biggest gift is when I started looking at myself, becoming my own hero in my own life, based on that future self. And amazing things happen. Pain, regret, remorse, negative self-talk started diminishing, because my confidence began to grow in the actions I was taking little bit every day. CEO of the company, one of the companies I'm a part of, is a guy named Jeff Olson, wrote a book called The Slight Edge. And it's like doing little things, the little things that compound into massive results over time. So this is a second video I'm doing, because the last one was like 15 minutes and this one got to 10 minutes. I don't know if you're gonna stay on, but if you do, leave a comment. I'm gonna try to get these down to like 5 minutes, because that's about my attention span when I'm watching some of these videos. But if you watch it, thank you. If you care to make a comment, I'd appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Have a good day, and hopefully that had some value for somebody. Bye-bye.